Current world problems for the trade war to the weakening of the world's economy. Now, countries in Asia, such as Singapore, are hit by economic problems. Singapore is known as a transit point for international trade. Malaysia is also now difficult to find workers. A total of thousands of workers from Indonesia were closed due to weakening of the CPO industry. In addition to the slowdown in the construction sector, Malaysia's debt is also quite large, to the extent that officials are asked to cut 10% of salaries. This has a difficult economic impact, and also Peninsula of Sabah and Sarawak are demanding better rights over social inequality. Other than that, Africa is increasingly difficult to move debt from Chinese investors, making Africa facing difficult socio-economically. The problem of food shortage and complex problem among ethnic groups is growing and security is getting worse. There are some countries that are good for fast technology transfer, open agriculture, and palm oil. In these countries all requires for Indonesian CPO producers, and Malaysia must be wary of switching Europe to buy there. We can also name countries that are in danger too: Sri Lanka, Pakistan, etc. Must be aware that the dollar reserves are running low and they cannot buy export raw materials. The Middle East, the old complication of Syria, Yemen, Palestine, Israel, Lebanon, may be impacted. Generally, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Qatar, United Arab Emirates are normal. Returning to normal for Hajj and Umrah could help the economy start to pick up and the oil prices improve. In China, the balance process of managing 1.4 billion people, as many as 7% of the population own shares of 90-30% of property investment in China. All land in China belongs to the state, so developers pay rent to the government. In America, 45% of Americans own 55% of property. It can be imagined that Americans are trapped in a long and heavy economic debt that are really dangerous. If there is a recession in developed countries with high unemployment rates in China, many people will be jobless. In Indonesia, the level of public share ownership is low and property owners are only a small but rich group, namely the oligarchic capitalists who own upstream to downstream now. So we are young people must have different dreams to make the nation stronger and independent, socio and economically. At the start of America trade war with China, it quite influential on geopolitics and global economy. Plus COVID-19 as a result of the world community being contracted from normal living and moving to the beginning of civilization in the era of digitalization. People all over the world switch communication into modern communication tools due to startup world growing online in every community. It is revealed smartphones and social contacts in digital world conjure up 170 million in Indonesian with 1, 2, 3 cell phones numbers. When school children of all levels learn to use Zoom, college students, businessmen, state civil servants, and even the military all communicate with social media. In the past, we will never ever thought about this progress. In the 90s era, social media, smartphone, or even like phone, it's really luxury goods. Now everything is really common and become an ordinary item. Another topics about geopolitics war. we will see the effects of long political war between Russia and Ukraine. The energy turmoil all over Europe was hit by growing problems. Europe's superior human resources cannot deal with the scarcity of fuel, oil, and gas, created a winter Europe without coal or energy, a big problem with many impacts. The Prime Minister of England and several countries retreat from turmoil in food raw materials, problems in financial sector fell, high inflation, unemployment in England, France, and other increased. Scarcity of expensive food, weakening purchasing power. The tourism and property sectors suffer losses as all countries seek to increase energy tax rates by 40%. And also, petroleum has become an expensive commodity. Countries formed an alliance of petroleum sectors, collaborating with crude oil producing countries. Saudi Arabia, Russia, several African countries, Latin America, and oil supplying countries reduced production at price from $60 per barrel to $100 per barrel. This makes Europe nervous, which depends on natural gas and fuel oil. This catastrophe made the economy contract violently. Exports weakened. Inflation that used to be 1% is now up to 5%. Even America can reach 7% maybe. China and Turkey are also on the verge of economic growth approaching 1 or even 0. Japan, South Korea, and Russia can still be helped because of the oil they can control. Developing countries feel the direct and indirect effects. Some countries in Southeast Asia are helped by the mining sector, coal and bauxite mining, etc. It is also reported that the price of CPO is still in the state of alert. In conclusion, humans make long plans, live for 1,000 years, doesn't matter, only the world will end with death, problem in the grave or hereafter until our final door in hell or heaven, depending on guidance and how our hearts are. Thanks to Allah and His Messenger, we want to be safe. There's only one way, following them.